Hello. Wonka and Will here. I am alive and well, and I wanted to jump on here and give a very long overdue update. Like, probably 5 weeks overdue. I know. Here I am. I just wanted to update everybody. I've been home for 2 weeks now. What day is today? Saturday? Exactly, it'll be 2 weeks tomorrow. I would say about 5 days before I got to Grafton Notch, I knew that I was going to struggle making it to the Catskills in a timely fashion. Not to mention, when I got to Grafton Notch, and when you cross the road, when you're going southbound, when you cross the road and you look up and you just see all that, yeah, I realized, baby girl's not ready. I'm not ready. I need a little bit more training. But I didn't want to waste the time that I'd already put in, and I still had good weather, and I still had the support. So coming home made sense. And I just knew that I needed to come home and get this together. A little bit more organized. So here I am, fast forward 2 weeks, and I've got notes. I'm looking forward to reaching out to Philip Garcia and picking his brain a little bit. Will Robinson, the amazing Will Robinson, the GOAT, the amazing Will Robinson. He's still out there grinding. He did another 115 this year, maybe even set a fastest known time. I don't want to chop people's resumes up. I'm still learning all the lingo and what they do and everything. But he went out there and did it again. Listen, he got through the 115 before I got to the saddleback. And I'm like, geez, he's that good. So, shout out to him. Shit. Yeah. I pumped the brakes on my hike at Grafton Notch, and I made the hardest, but the best decision. The best decision to come home, regroup, re-examine, recalibrate, revise, and refocus, and put a new plan together for next year's attempt at the 115. I came home, I knew it was the right time, and I'm gonna get to all that. The reason I didn't update immediately, I kind of started to, but I knew I needed to take time and reflect. All these R's, yeah, but it's true. I bit off way more than I could chew. I put all my eggs in one basket, and my heart was in it. I came ready to do this all the way to the Catskills, and I gave it everything I had, and I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of myself for how far I came. I learned so much, but the biggest thing that I learned is that I have a lot to learn. I do. Anyway, so that's why I want to catch everybody up and let you know where I'm at today, what the last 2 weeks have been like in reflection, because it took me a good week to really decide to pull the plug on it. 50 physically, because of my feet, and because of my leg, and because of my shoulder. So 50-50 that, and 50% mental. I knew what I was up against. I got to Grafton Notch, and I'm like, dang, well, there's the whites. You know what I'm saying? Like right there. Oh, by the way, I have so many good things to talk about. This shirt, I love Poet's Gear Emporium. I love shawls. Okay, I know I'm all over the place, but let me just point this out real quick. I had the best experience. I met the greatest people. I love thru-hiking the Appalachian Trail. That's all I've ever done. And the long trail is just an extension of that for me. But this is different. This is absolutely different, and I approached it wrong. I took the wrong approach to this hike. I approached it like a thru-hike that I want families to do, that I wanted anybody that wanted to do it. But there's a lot more that goes into thru-hiking the 4,000 footers than I was even really prepared to. I didn't even understand until I was there, which is fine. But I'm owning it. I learned from it, and I have a list of things that I need to correct, and I'm gonna start with, well, that's why I came home. I put all my eggs in one basket. It was in my heart to do it. It was in my heart to go from North Brother to Slide and Hunter in the Catskills. It was in my heart to do all that in a timely time frame. And I showed up. And I went for it, and I gave it everything I had. I'm very proud of myself. It opened so many doors and windows for me, metaphorically, you know what I mean? Like, I used to give you an example. I used to think these things were stupid. You know, I'm a thru-hiker. I'm like, but they're hydration vests. You know, I'm like, people run up and down these mountains. They're just running up and down mountains. They're not just running up and down mountains. They're not. I just did what they do. These out and backs are crazy. I mean, for me, this is just for me. I also hiked with hikers that were southbound that were doing all the same. They were just doing it for fun. I'm like, okay, but for me, it's different. It was just harder, more mental for me than anything. I've always been used to being on a linear path with white blazes, and I know where the next stop is, I know where the next town is, I know what is ahead. This was different. My neighbor's up there. Ooh. I don't care, maybe she'll learn something. She needs to hike. Anyway, where was I? When I first started hiking in 2004, that's when my dad brought me out to the AT for the first time. I never researched. All I'd ever known about the Appalachian Trail was when my father had hiked all those years previous, and I would send him trail magic or send him resupply boxes or take him to the trail or pick him up for the trail or, you know, whatever it is. I was always a part of his trail family through stories and meeting people. And in 2004, I became a hiker for my first time. And basically, he packed a bag for me because we're on a Sunday, I knew we were hiking. On a Friday, we were on a train to Harper's Ferry. That's how it was. I didn't know. I trusted him, and he guided me. He gave me the first part of my trail name. I did not like getting up in the morning. I did not like climbing. It was a lot of work. I didn't realize all the exercise I had to do. I was 26, so I got my legs fairly quick, which at the time I didn't understand anything. I just took what he packed in my pack, and that was it, and wore cotton and shoes and things. I wore sandals. In 2004, I wore sandals. I still have those sandals. In 2019, when I got back on the AT after all those years, I pulled those sandals out of my old 2004 crusty pack, plopped them on my feet, and attempted to hike. What was I doing? I was training. I was Damascus, southbound out of Damascus. They lasted 5 seconds. Boom, because they had dry rotted. I didn't know. That's how ding-ding I was in 19 even. So my track record shows I just usually walk through the fire. Oh, I'll do that, and I just go do it. It's as fully prepared as I can possibly get myself, but I show up, I make the attempt, and I'm lucky to be alive on all these attempts probably, I'm sure. Anyway, this was no different. I approached it wrong. But now I know. So I didn't want to go into the whites, you know, because at Grafton Notch, here's the whites. There's nowhere to go but up and over, up and over, up and over, up and over. I'm like, no, I need to wait a minute, hold on, hold, pump the brakes. So I did that. Came home, and now I am back to studying my routes, taking notes, better ones. Now I know the questions to ask. I've made a bunch of these maps, those 4,000 footers, and I've done different variations of routes, and I've made a list of questions, and I'm looking at my gear, and I got a hydration vest. I was carrying water around my neck going out and back, which a thru-hiker would do, or they wouldn't take anything. They just go and come back. It's different. Anyway, but they're going straight anyway. This is a lot. So I got one. I'm going to carry it. I'm cutting weight in so many other places. There's thru-hiker things that I was carrying that I'm not carrying for this. I'm just trying to say. And I'm going to be ready to grind from the minute I step on the trail to the minute I lay my head down at night. That wasn't something I was used to, even though I know a lot of through hikers do 30-mile days and 25-mile days and 18-hour days. You see them once, that's the last time you see them. And I've never hiked like that, ever. I like 3 miles, 6 miles, maybe 11 miles. A 15 mile, an 18 mile, that's pushing it. So I approached it wrong. I need to be in the shape I am now when I start in Maine, not the shape I was in when I started in Maine, or the mindset. So I'm gonna go to the trailhead, and I have some questions. I'm gonna reach out to a hiker named Philip Garcia, Finding Philip. He is really well respected in the Whites. He knows the trails in the Whites. He's done the Diretisima multiple times in multiple weather conditions. He's a former through hiker on the Appalachian Trail, and I'm going to reach out to him. I've already reached out to him, and I'm gonna do what I should have done the first time, and do my research better, my homework, and I'm gonna go walk these 4,000 footers and get to know them and regroup. And so when I attempt this next year, my success chances might be a little bit better, not much. This is not easy. I have to learn how to grind every day in a timely fashion and not let it get to me. I'm learning, so I'm going to try this. And we still have the Adirondacks to catch up with too. That's a whole nother beast. If I was complaining about the mud in the 100-mile wilderness, the mud in the Adirondacks is level infinity. It's just different, off the charts. So I have a lot to do to get ready for this. Another mistake I made, I started the trail in these Vivo barefoot zero drop boots. Okay, nothing against them, they're great. I even had another pair ready as a backup, okay? Nothing wrong with them. However, the mistake that I made is I didn't train my feet. My feet weren't trained for zero drop. These are barefoot. There's nothing there. I needed a zero drop shoe because anything with a drop on, I was twisting my ankle all the time. Lesson learned, I was either gonna hike barefoot, so I didn't prepare my feet in time. Based on what I read, I needed at least a year in these before I tried climbing any mountains in them. So 260 miles in these destroyed my left foot, destroyed it. The nerve damage is still healing. But I went ahead and got these Ultras, highly recommended, zero drop, and I'm just gonna, these are not brand new. I got these off a secondhand marketplace so I could try them before I buy them, and as long as I think they're gonna be good. These are brand new. I don't even want to wear them around here anymore. My feet are still screaming. And Rangeley, see, this is how far back it's been going. In Rangeley, I bought these Dr. Superfeet or something like that. They did nothing for the zero drop barefoot. Nothing. So I had my diet dialed in. My nutrition was completely dialed in. That's the one thing I got right, was my nutrition. When I get up in the morning, so I followed these hikers on YouTube called Thru-hikers. And what they do is they come up with dehydrated backpacking meals, and they have a recipe book, and they're on the PCT now, currently. I don't want to mess them up, but that's who they are. So I took one of the recipes that I got off of YouTube, and I wrote it down, and they took a backpacker's oatmeal with a lot of protein, fats, and carbs in it and reconstructed it. Well, that's what I took their recipe, and so I make 1,000-calorie oatmeal with 56 grams of protein that I can eat twice a day. I make that. I use their recipe. It's called Thru-hikers. They're on YouTube, Instagram. They got a recipe book on Amazon. And then, so I eat that in the morning, and I drink coffee and protein powder. No protein powder in the morning. 3 hours later, I start this. Every hour, I use Perpetuum 2.0. and it's basically the right amount of carbs, proteins, and fats. And I deliver this to myself every hour. So I'll do about 6 hours of this. No eating. I'm not carrying anything. I love that. That's all. It's there's nothing in it. You can look it up. It's good. It's just carbs, protein, fat, and the right amounts. I take a vitamin every day. I do have honey stingers and a Cliff Bar or a Snicker bar. I might just go ahead and have like emergency supply of that, just in case I feel like I need to eat. I usually definitely take a honey stinger. I like those. But I'll throw the oatmeal in for lunch too, because it's 1,000 calories. It's everything I need. And all I have to do is hydrate it for 10 minutes. It's really easy. I have all the ingredients anyway. Hemp hearts. I throw this in. These are very high in protein. Dehydrated beef tips every night. 30 grams worth of protein of that. Organic plant-based protein powder. I was doing whey protein, but now I'm going to this because it has a prebiotic and a probiotic in it. You know, but I make sure chia seeds. I carry chia seeds and electrolyte, olive oil. So basically, my dinners, because I'm not eating during the day, I'm doing sustained nutrition during the day, and I can move good on it. If it weren't for this, when I did Hamlin and Baxter Peak, I wouldn't have made it. This and my protein powder was crucial, and my honey stingers, and 2 gallons of water. Oh man, I dialed it in. I've never had it. For the first time in my hike, I got my nutrition and my hydration all dialed in. And I use liquid IV because it has more carbs in it. I know everybody pushes the Element, and I've never tried it, but I like the liquid IV because it has a higher amount of carbs in it, and that's what we're doing. We need that for energy. Anyway, that's why I go with that. A vitamin every day, and then I carry emergency and anything emergency. This is that, whatever it's emergency drink mixes. That goes in every day. That's vitamins. I already told you. You know what that is. Okay. I was adding vital proteins, collagen, peptides in to all my resupply boxes, but that's extra weight. I'm not carrying it. That's another thing. This big 70 liter, even though it's a Hyperlite and it was light, 70 liters, come on. It was just too big. The reason I have it is because the Z-Pack I was carrying last year was broke down. Just this one. And I went to REI and I needed a pack right there and then. They had a small frame, but it was 70 liter. I don't care, so I bought it on the spot. That's how I ended up with that. I love Hyperlite, don't get me wrong. So I'm downsizing, that's all I can tell you. Poncho is going through and refurbishing the pack, straightening it up for me. So we're gonna put the 55 liter Z-Pack, and I'm selling the Hyperlite. It's on Marketplace on Facebook right now. It's had a nice bath. It doesn't smell like a hiker anymore. I don't know what it'll smell like when you start hiking in it though, because I don't know, but it smells good now. Anyway, my nutrition, I changed my shoes, I've changed the weight that I'm carrying, and on August 21st, I'm showing back up to the Whites. I made reservations at the Notch Hostel, and I am going to I'm just going to start going northbound on a Diritisma of the New Hampshire 48. My goal is to get the Cabot and to walk over all 48 peaks. Now, I'm not out there taking my time, swimming in all the ponds, and I'm not. This is different. I'm approaching this like I have to move. I have miles to move. I have elevation to gain. It's like this. There's, in the 230.5 miles of my route, I have 76,000 of elevation gain. If I break that down over 20 whatever days I want to do it in, it's 4,000 feet a day I have to climb. That's not even counting any zeros. So that's why I'm saying you have to approach something like this a little different. I am anyway. I have to. I can't speak for everybody. But this is how it got me. So, since I've been home, Poncho, I'm at a gym. It's not a CrossFit gym, it's an athletic gym, but they do CrossFit training. It's small in size, very great, very nice, I love it. So I'm lifting, I'm getting my cardio in, I'm eating right, I'm eating clean every day. I'm staying fit, and on August 21st, like I said, I made reservations at the Notch Hostel, and I'm going to head off and gather these next 48 peaks. If I make it to Cabot, or Wombat, whatever the last one will be, Cabot, I'm going to give myself a pat here and a pat here, and I'll feel more confident about attempting to run 15 next year. Got to figure out the Adirondacks. That'll come too. Maybe I just do Maine and New Hampshire next year, and then the year after that, and then come home and throw the Adirondacks in, and then the next year do them all. It doesn't matter. It's not a race. It's not. I want to do this. I'm going to do this, no matter how long it takes me. I want to do it right, and I think I've done everything right. I've made mistakes. I've come back. I'm learning from them. I'm going to go back out there and make a lot more. I know. I already know. I'm sure. I already know. I'm sure something's going to... Look, I already know this is probably too heavy. Something. I've already got mistakes. I'm not perfect. There's no perfect. One way to learn is to just go and do it. I'm going to show up. I'm going to give it my all. I'm going to try. Get all 48 peaks. Can you believe that? I'm not going to be afraid. I'm going to do this. So anyway, I guess for some people, what I just did going from North Brother to Grafton Notch might not be a lot, but for me, that's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. It was the hardest thing I could ever have done was to bite off a 115 thru-hike and attempt it. And I'm glad I stopped where I stopped. I'm glad I didn't keep going. I'm glad. And I'm okay with accepting defeat, because it's not really defeat. It's only the beginning. It's only the beginning of what's ahead. It would be defeat if I didn't go back out and keep trying. And I like this project. It was the hardest thing I've ever done. I was not ready to be done. I was not ready to come off the trail. I wasn't ready, but my body was. My right shoulder, okay, so right now it's good to hear. I'm getting better. I have an overuse injury of my rotator cuff and these tendons and muscles here that connect everything. It's a lot better than it was when I got home. I mean, so there's that. I punctured my leg coming up Baldpate. I slid down it, and I had one steri strip in the middle because it was just a deep puncture like a diamond, and two on the end. I didn't even really need them, but yeah. And my feet, well, my left foot, I'm pretty sure you can't, I don't think I severed a nerve, but whatever I did to the nerve on the ball of my foot is still bad. I did not see a podiatrist. I didn't get a diagnosis, but it feels like I'm walking around on a blister underneath the ball of my foot, and I know it's nerve damage because I can't feel like 3 of my toes, but then again, they're on fire, so there's that. Wish me luck.
Mister, can you stop for me? I ain't got much besides this guitar. Back a ways you'd find what else I own in the trunk of that damned old car. Don't know what blue, but it's smoking like hell, and man, it sure don't sound good. It made it clear it ain't going no further. Well, there's fury beneath that hood. It dragged my bones all the way to California, but it sure ain't taking me home. So if you got a spare seat and you're headed east, mister, that's where I'm going. I'm aiming for a holler in the hills of Appalachia. No sir, you wouldn't know the name. It's prettier than heaven and where I'm at the world, but it ain't got no other claims to fame. I left my hollow tree to find my fame and fortune on this here California coast. But to tell the truth, truth, lonely shots of rye whiskey was what I seemed to find the most. Hollywood don't want me, the radio won't play me. I guess I ain't their kind. And singing on the street, man, sure gets lonely when nobody pays me no mind. I ain't sorry that I tried it, I ain't sorry that I came, I ain't sorry that I bet it all. But in the words of Kenny Rogers, you gotta know when to fold 'em, and I ain't got the money left to call. Headed on home to a girl that I've been riding. No, she don't care, I ain't no star. You gotta know when to hold 'em, and I ain't held her in an age, and that's why I was speeding in my car. It's funny sometimes you gotta go so far to find again the place where you were born. To remember how it smelled, to remember how it felt, to remember the cloth in which you torn. So I'm aiming for a holler in the hills of Appalachia. No, sir, you wouldn't know the name, but it's prettier than heaven, and where I met the world, and where I'm going again. Appalachia. No, sir, you wouldn't know the name, but it's prettier than heaven, and where I'm at the world, and where I'm going.